Hi, this is the 8th and final lesson in a course on the introduction to Friedrich Nietzsche. I hope that you have enjoyed the previous 7 lessons and you've enjoyed me prattle on a bit, but also you very much enjoyed, hopefully, the great work that I found on the internet. There's a lot of information and there's a lot more depth to Friedrich Nietzsche's work. But hopefully this has posed some interesting questions for you about the importance of Nietzsche, both the importance of his philosophy as how it affects your individual morality, but also his importance as a barrier or a tipping point in Western philosophy, moving from one era of modernism to an era of postmodernism. And away from philosophy, his importance in influencing political events. Did Hitler just use him as a convenient tool to justify what he was going to do already? Or in some way, even mistakenly, did Hitler read his work and think, well, that's maybe what we need to do? I don't know, maybe that's too simplistic. For me, Nietzsche is important and very interesting philosophically, but I can't get past what I appear to have when I look at his work, which is a puzzling paradox. And it's really probably the paradox which most interests me about moral philosophy. There seems to be this paradox in what is the real legacy of Nietzsche. In one sense, is he heralded in, or is he part of the postmodern movement? Or is he part of that movement which led to Hitler and fascism, which led to the communist sort of revolution? Because one, postmodernism is about uncertainty, and communism and fascism is about certainty. They're certain about what they believe, and anyone who disagrees with them is just wrong. Whereas postmodernism is the opposite of that. They're saying, I don't know even what I believe, and no one can know. It's impossible to be certain about anything. In which area does he fit? And there seems to be evidence that Friedrich Nietzsche fits in both. There seems to be this paradox in his work. He seems to be saying, on one sort of side, well, there's no God, and he wants to go beyond good and evil. The definition of good and evil are wrong. But in another sort of sense, he seems to be saying, well, there is a right way to live. So he seems to be saying not just that religion telling us how to live is wrong, but he seems to want to say something else, which is, but there is still a right way to live. There is still this self-growth that you can go to reach an Übermensch. Well, that's interesting, because he is, in one sense, destroying a hierarchy which sees sort of, man and God. He destroys that, but he somehow imposes another hierarchy, which is sort of man and the Übermensch, a clear hierarchy. Well, in what sense is he just replacing one morality with a different morality? Or in what sense is he saying there's no morality? And this really is the central question for me. And to be honest, probably the central question of the 20th century morality is, how can we hold anyone to account? How can we point at someone and say, you are good or you are evil? And Hitler's maybe the iconic example of that, is that, yes, I fully understand that Nietzsche probably wasn't envisioning the Hitler, a 1,000-year Reich and the Nazi movement, and that his views were very much altered and changed and misinterpreted in order to support that movement. But if he's not about that sort of certainty, whether it be the fascist movement or some other sort of certainty like the communist movement, if it's not about, there is a definite right and a definite wrong, and the definite right should be imposed on the world, or even on ourselves, then how does Nietzsche hold Hitler to account? If there isn't that certainty, then how can Nietzsche say Hitler is evil or Hitler is good? How can he make any value judgment? If there is no right, no wrong, I want to say that Hitler was wrong, that he was evil. But in order to do that, you need an objective sense of what is right and wrong. a way to clearly identify right and wrong. And this is the interesting thing about Nietzsche, is that he seems to be saying both that there is no right or wrong, but that I know right or wrong and you should do what I say. It's interesting. And it's not something that we can, that I can give you the answer to. It's something that you need to discover for yourself. It's the very essence of what it means to debate moral philosophy. And I think Nietzsche is an incredibly interesting vehicle to debate that very subject. So I hope you've enjoyed this course, this introduction to Friedrich Nietzsche, and that I hope that you'll look at other courses on teachmyself.org. Good luck.